Hi Stitchy friends, this is Deborah, Stitching Granny of 17. This is floss tube number 12. This is February the 4th. I want to welcome each and every one of you. Thank you so much for subscribing and hitting that bell to get notified when I upload another video. Today it's going to be a floss tube and it's going to be cross stitching. So I have a lot to show you. I have quite a few fully finished projects. I have several of the finished projects. I only have 2 whips to show you today. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. You'll find it right below. I want to mention that Annabella's, she is having a retreat in Asheville, North Carolina. So that's not too far from me. And she's going to be having it in November 4th through 7th. So go to Annabella's Floss Tube and check out the information that she has on her retreat. And she gives you a link where you can go sign up for future emails. You can find out all the upcoming information about the retreat. Also has a stitch school. And she has a link for you to go and join that. She gives you a free pattern. And it doesn't matter if you've been stitching a day, if you've never stitched, or if you've been stitching for 40 years like me. Just go ahead and support our fellow floss tubers. She gives you a free design so you can stitch it and you can make it up. I think she's going to show us how she finishes it. So we can go ahead and finish it with her. And yes, I'm signing up. I haven't yet, but yes, I am going to sign up today. So why don't y'all join me and you can see my progress here in the floss tube when she starts the cross stitch school. So even this old goat, maybe she'll even learn something new. All right, go check out Annabella's and I'll link her in the information below. The first start / finish / FFO I have is this one from Waxing Moon. These were last year's designs, and this is February. And I have it on an easel that I found at Hobby Lobby. And so the bow is done with a magnet on the back. And I just stick it up here and then display it. So that is the Waxing Moon February. And as you can see, I go old school. I love eyelet. I love trims. Some laces. Next, I started this one January the 9th. And I finished it February the 2nd. And this is Waxing Moon Designs. This is their series that they did, the monthly samplers in 2009. And I did this one for my hubby. And this is on a Dollar Tree frame. It had some clothespins. It was meant to go this way, and it had some clothespins. And so I just covered it with fabric with the foam core board that I got at the Dollar Quarter Tree store. Can't call it the Dollar Tree anymore. It's a Dollar Quarter Tree store. And then this one I stitched last year. So this isn't a fully finished for this year, but since we're on February, I thought I would show this one because I'm not sure I've ever showed this one. So this one is Stitching with the Housewives. They're February trucking along, and this is back from 2020. Oh, this was fun to do. Okay. Some more fully finishes. Okay, this is, and it would be helpful if I hold it upright. And this is the So She Believed She Could, So She Did by Lori Holt. And I finished this one into a quilted finish. And I'll get a hanger and hang it. I still got to sew this little flap down. But here this is. And this was stitched on 14 count. And I don't know the name of the fabric. It was modeled a white with beige modeling on it. And I used all the call for threads on that. I cut a piece of Pellon fleece, and then I also cut a piece of fusible, two-sided fusible, and I ironed it onto the Pellon fleece. And then I peeled it off, and then I ironed my cross stitch piece onto the Pellon, and then I trimmed it. I cut away the excess. And then I added my strips that I wanted to add to my cross stitch to make it into a quilt. And then I added another piece of fleece or quilt batting, whichever you have on hand. And then I stitched in the ditch around it. And then I turned it into a quilted piece that I could hang. I've been stitching along with my friend Rhonda, and we were doing the flea market flowers on Friday. I've done several more, but I haven't fully finished them yet, so I'll show them when I get them fully finished. But for now, here's one of them. And all I did was put a little ribbon right here in like a ring, so that I could stick some little silk flowers in there. And then I put some lace down here at the bottom, and then just a little bow. And I did weight it down some with some walnut shells, lizard litter. So I really enjoy making these little pillows. It's kind of, you have to get creative where you're going to put all these little pillows. But they will sit on bookshelves, dough bowls, etc. And then here's another one I did. And I just picked two blocks together or out of the pattern and put them together. And this is some old school lace. And I have a little B button on there. And I made a lace bow on here. So it really doesn't stand out that much, but it's there. So these were Flea Market Flowers by Lori Holt. And then here is the center one, or one of the large ones. And I decided to make it into a larger pillow. I'm putting it on the bed that my grandmother crocheted. So all I did was use some old school lace, some vintage lace. And it was old when it was given to me. And they were given to me probably about 15, 20 years ago. And then it's got that same kind of lace that was on this pillow on here. It's got peachy color in it, but I made it work. I finished my Prim Stitch series by Lori Holt. I started it Christmas or December of 2021, and I stitched on it until about June. I put it down because I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. First of all, I put it on a scroll frame, which it was rather large to have it on a lap frame because it wanted to keep tilting. And so I put it up until I could decide what I wanted to do with it. So I pulled it back out and I did this last block right here. And I said, you know what? I'm going to call it done. Go ahead and finish trimming it out and make it into a pillow. And I've done a tutorial on these pillows. You can check back where you have the zipper. And I did use the correct color zipper. Most of the time, I just use anything because I make the flap so you can't really see it anyway. And if your pillows, your zipper's not long enough, because this was a 20-inch pillow, just add a piece of fabric on each end of the zipper, however long you need it, so that you can use that zipper. Now, you can't go too short. You can't use a zipper this size and expect to get a pillow form in it. But if it's only like an inch or so on each side. You can add the fabric and then put your zipper on. So there it is again, the Prim Stitch series by Lori Holt. And this is also going on that best bed with the crocheted spread that my grandmother made. Let's go into some FOs. The Farmhouse series. I'm going to turn it into a quilted finish. And then I believe this is one that I just got through doing. This was close to one of the first ones that I did. And I really didn't think I was going to enjoy the quilt block, but it was fun. I really enjoyed it. It was relaxing. I didn't have to do a lot of thinking. So it was fun. Okay, here's the last two blocks that I did. I did this one with the cow. And I did change quite a few of the colors. I used mostly DMC, but I just pulled out some of my classic color works where I wanted some shading or some movement. Like in this house right here, I used a classic color works. And I talked about that, I believe, in my last floss tube, because I was showing you how different the color was that I bought at 2 different times. So make sure you buy enough hand-dyed floss at one time to finish a project, because it may be different. And here's the first 2 blocks that I did, I believe. And the house, I just picked one of my classic color works and used it because I didn't want a white house with snow everywhere. I had shown y'all that I was doing So Quilty Barns by Lori Holt, and that was my take-along stitch. So I finally put the chicken in there. And this one I only worked on, you know, just here and there whenever we went somewhere. And then I would take it with me to church. We'd always get to church up to about 30 minutes early, and I'd always pull out my stitching. Everybody come by and see what I'm stitching on now. And I was undecided whether or not I was going to put those same things in the barn. But after I thought about it, go ahead and do it. I can always stitch the barns again and stitch the cards individually and stick them in the barns when I want to. And then I had to get another take-along stitch. So I pulled out the Be in My Bonnet stitch cards. And I've already done these except for the water pitcher. So I just did that one. I'm going to show it to you. And then I just started these because it's another sew along with my friend Rhonda. And then I stitched the butterfly this morning. And then I started the framing on the dollhouse. So I'm going to work on that one probably today, because today's Friday and that's when we do our stitching on this, but I'm also taking it with me. So the water pitcher, I did start yesterday. We had to drive up to the mountains to get some honey, but they were closed. So it was about 30 minutes that I worked on. I did the border and the flower, and right before bed, I worked some on the pitcher. So the Homestead Harvest, I work on it. I try to do about 12 hours a month on it. That's my goal. So I didn't stitch on it because I met my goal. So now my goal for this month is another 12 hours and then another room in my Kringles. So I've only committed myself to 1 room a month on Kringles. So that way I'll be finished with it there around June. That's the plan, because I want to make sure that I have plenty of time to be able to stitch Christmas in July. And then I've got my gingerbread house pattern in. It came in late, so I haven't stitched it yet, and another one's supposed to be on its way. So my goal is to stitch those two this month. And then the only WIP that I worked on, my Twin Peak Primitives, Christmas Morning. And I don't have a lot done, but I have done some. I did the chair and the boots and started on the table. So I'll be working on this on Sunday. I had some Stitchy Kindness. I won some patterns by Vicky, the Virginia Stitcher. And she got snowed in and it took her a while to mail it. I told her take her time. But anyway, I believe this is the pattern that I won. And I'm really enjoying Twin Peak Primitives. I'm anxious to see what they come out with this March. And then she also sent me this pattern here. I'm looking forward to doing that one. It's got some cardinals on it. So thank you, Vicki. And then I had some more Stitchy Kindness. This is a viewer that watches, and she says, I have some fabric if you're interested. And I'm going to have cataract surgery, and that's not until March the 15th is the first one. And I've already tried 28 count once, but I stitched it wrong, and that was with Brick House. That's the one that's up there that I'm going to turn into a pillow. So when I started it, rather than messing up, I went ahead and did it on 14 count. But I'm really wanting to get into at least 28 count, maybe move up to 32, but I doubt I go any farther than that. I'm sure 32 is going to be about my limit. But anyway, she sent me some beautiful fabric. And this one is Mushroom / Light Mocha by Lugana. And it's a fat half. And I've got this pattern by Twin Peak Primitive. And it's the Honest Abe pattern. I saw Finally a Farm Girl stitch this. And I said, you know what? I've been wanting to get into some samplers. So I'm going to dive right in using this fabric. I think it'll be a good match. So thank you, Becky. She also sent me some other fabric, some linen, and it's 28 count. And then a fat quarter Joblin lamb's wool. And then she sent me a fat half 28 count wheat Lugana. This is beautiful fabric. I thought about doing Abe on this, so it's a toss-up. But the other one seemed to match what was called for in the pattern. So it's going to be a toss-up for me, either this one or that one. And I'm planning on starting Honest Abe just as soon as I finish Christmas Morning. And so thank you, Becky. Oh, here's another one that she sent me, Dirty Linen, Cashel Linen. It's a 9 by 13 piece. So I may put one of my new patterns on that one because I'm going to be doing them separate. And I'll show you that in my haul. Oh, speaking of haul, here's my shirt that I got from Happy Little Stitch Shop because I'm in the Lori club. Here is Yvette. And I won something on her floss tube. And it was a pre-cut quilt box. Here's the bag that it comes in. And what I won in there was a jelly roll. Beautiful fabrics in here. I might have to make up some stitchy bags because I'm going to have to make some anyway because of As soon as we get to 1,000 subscribers, I'll be making some bags to give away. So put in the comments, what's the colors, theme that y'all like, so I can plan on, stitching some up that you would like. And then in that was a pattern, and then this pattern, and some nice little snips, and then a spool of thread, and it's gray. So thank you, Yvette. And she had messaged me because I was behind in floss tube. Come Christmas, it gets kind of hard to keep up, and she messaged me. And I want to thank her so much for messaging me because I was late in responding. So thank you, Yvette. And then on to my haul. All right, my haul is the t-shirt, and then the hometown holiday. I've got the hometown holiday bookstore and grandma's house. And then another one is the schoolhouse and diner. And then Main Street and my house. So this is Main Street. And then one more, the Firehouse and Florist. I saw this one, trying to remember who I saw this one with, but when I saw it, I thought it was adorable, and I just had to get it. I want to start this one probably Christmas in July. I got to dye me some fabrics for this. But it's adorable. Santa is so cute. And then I had already gotten the board at Hobby Lobby, and I had to wait for this pattern to come back in stock. So I finally got it in. But I did find that board at Hobby Lobby, so it's all ready and waiting for me to get this stitched up. So there, I will stitch this in July also, Christmas in July. If I get these two done in July, I think I'll be doing really good. In my last floss tube, I had mentioned for y'all to go back and read 2 Kings 4, 8 through 37. And I wrote in my own words what I perceived this to be about. So I'm going to read it to you, but I still want to encourage you, go back and read it so you can get your own understanding from it. You can take mine for what it is. I'm not a scholar. I can read it and I can try to understand it in my way. So Elijah passed by a house as often he went through the same path as he traveled. A woman noticed him and gave him bread to eat. She felt him to be a man of God, so she asked her husband to make a chamber place, a room for him. So he stayed there the next time he came through. He asked her, what could he do in return for her? She asked for nothing. But he was told by his servant that she was childless and her husband was old. So Elijah told the woman about the next time, the same time next year, she would give birth to a son. And she told Elijah, please don't lie to me. It's like, don't mess with me. I've been wanting a child. Then the woman, she did conceive, and she bare a son, just as Elijah had told her. So then later, as the child was older, he went out to the field where his father was and told him that he wasn't feeling too well. So he told a lad to take him to his mother. She sat him on her knees, till noon, and then he died. She laid him on the bed in that chamber that they put up for Elisha, and then she shut the door behind her. And then she called unto her husband, and he allowed her to go to get Elisha. Well, she finally got there, and then his servant, she had told him that everything was, because Elisha had his servant go out and meet her because he saw her in a distance. And she says, everything's okay, but she needed to speak to Elisha. Well, when she finally got there to Elisha, she was crying, and I believe she was yelling at him. And in verse 28, it says, "Did I desire a son of my Lord? Did I not say, do not deceive me? Here you are. You told me I was going to have a son, and now my son is dead." So Elijah, he sent his servant with his rod, his staff, and told him to lay it upon the face of the child, but it changed nothing. Here the child is laying on the bed, and he's dead. So now what do? They go and return and go get Elisha. This time he came with them, and he saw that the child was dead. But did he fret? I don't believe he did. He laid upon the child and face to face, and he prayed. He prayed unto God, and the child's body became warm, and his life returned. Then the Shunammite woman came unto her son. She fell upon Elisha's feet and bowed herself to the ground. Then she took her son and she went out. So there's a lot in there. And I want to ask you today, because we don't know how much time we have here on this earth. Some people have been given a sentence. Some people have been told by their doctors to get everything in order, that time is drawing near. Okay, my question to you is, what would change in your life if you were told that, if you were given a life sentence? Would anything change? Would you become nicer? Would you start praying? Would you start reading the Bible? Would you start seeking after God? Would you change how you react to others? How you treat others? How you treat yourself? Would you clean less? Love more? Stitch more? Stitch less? What would change? Think about it. Pray about it. And if you say that, yes, things would change, don't wait until you're given a sentence. Go ahead and make the changes today and live your life for God. Live your life the way He would want you to live it and be fulfilled in your life. So I want to thank y'all for joining me today. And I don't know where we're going next time. I will try to pop in and give you a verse on my next video that I do. I'm hoping to do a quilty tube in the next week. So hopefully by then God will lay it upon my heart what else to share with y'all. And then I can tell you where to go read before we meet again. Thank y'all, and God bless.